So does that mean that the investigation is now over? Is that what that means?
That's correct. That concludes our SLED investigation is complete. Our review of it has been concluded, and from a standpoint of a law enforcement, any law enforcement review, this wraps it up.
We had, I'm sure other members of the media had requested several items on the Freedom of Information Act. This is probably more of a SLED question because that's where those inquiries were directed. I believe we had asked for the videotapes. We had asked for the final report. I believe there's an audio tape, and I think we have a 911 tape request with the county. When can we have those materials now that the investigation seems to be over?
You all will direct those to the solicitor's office. They'll be able to deal with the release of any information. Let me be clear. I think there's been a great deal of attention during the course of this investigation to protect the integrity of an investigation, to protect the thoroughness of it. We do not release evidence during the course of that investigation. The only time you will hear an agency respond to those types of requests during the course of an investigation is when occasionally we've had to ask members of the public for assistance, either in apprehending somebody or identifying other evidence or information. Absent those circumstances, we should not be releasing information that is either going to be taken out of context or may not be thoroughly vetted by a thorough investigation and a complete investigation. So any information that was requested during the course of this investigation, anyway, and any others that comes to SLED, you can point the finger at me because we just do not release that information during the course of the investigation.
Is that information available now? Like after we're done, can we pick it up, or how's that going to work?
If you'll just submit a Freedom of Information request to my office, we'll prepare that information.
Another one, because I know we'd done several written requests to SLED, and we were told that once the investigation was over that the file would be released.
If you'll just submit one to me, then I'll respond to it within the time frame and get the materials to you. And what I would, well, not that, if I'm going to try to provide it to to all media outlets simultaneously if I can. That way there's, that everybody gets it at the same time, assuming everybody wants it. I suspect that will be the case. So I'll try to coordinate, if y'all sort of coordinate those requests with our office, just to get them to me as quickly as you can, and we'll get the material out very quickly. I will say this, we are providing a copy of the report to the Baroness family, and we've met with them on several occasions. We met with them again this morning. They're, as you would imagine, they're heartbroken, but they're very interested in what happened, and so we are providing a copy of the SLED report to them first, and I've told them that they'll be getting that report this afternoon, and I suspect in the next couple of days, assuming I receive your request, I'll be providing those tomorrow Monday probably, as we get those requests.
How about the 911 request? Because that was submitted to the county and not to SLED, and they said that they had to wait until the investigation is over until they...
It would be, I don't have any objection because it is a separate, actually it is a separate issue. Your points will take it, and you can contact Lisa Boissier about that. And she's already aware that she was aware that this press conference was scheduled for today, and she's actually discussed that issue with me. She can talk to us.
You said you spoke with the family. What are their thoughts on this release today, and how are they coping with everything?
Well, I guess from a standpoint of coping, I think the best way to say it, they're just heartbroken, and I don't know how, you don't have closure when you lose a child, and you heal, but it doesn't ever go away. So I guess that's my perception. They knew this was coming. They knew that there would come a time. We had previous meetings with them and explained the process and what steps would be taken. So hopefully we didn't catch them. We tried not to catch them off guard. We tried very carefully. We tried to, and that was one of the reasons we tried to keep the purpose of this press conference confidential. So hopefully they would not be made aware of it by picking up the morning paper. They could be, and we could talk to them face to face and answer their questions and give them that respect. So they knew this meeting was coming. They didn't know what. Of course, we didn't know what our answer would be before we had the investigation, but there were some pretty good indicators early on. We shared some of those with the family as we evaluated that evidence sort of along the line.
Any kind of reaction to your finding that Trevor was intentionally committing suicide?
Oh, the tragedy is I can't imagine a tragedy more sad, or more such a, I guess, needless kind of thing. When a young person chooses to take their life, with their whole life ahead of them, how do you scale of tragic? It's toward the top. It would not be top.
So by inference then, of course, your statement said that trying to commit suicide, then there's no indication that there was maybe the rest of the school was in danger, or that there were plans for him to maybe go out there?
There's no credible evidence that he was, that Trevor Baroness was interested in hurting anyone else in the school. I mean, as we look back at it now, certainly when he was in Marcus Rhodes' office and assaulted him with the bayonet, it was, we didn't have the benefit of the full investigation. I mean, Officer Rhodes just having to respond to a situation that he's presented with. But there is no question at this point in time that Trevor Baroness intended to commit suicide.
Tell us about the knife. What would you bring the knife for?
What you see here is the bayonet that was used, that Trevor Baroness used to assault Marcus Rhodes.
There were two weapons, though, were there not?
There were not two weapons, only one.
Just one.
That's correct.
So the initial report that he had one taken away from him, but still in one in his possession, that was incorrect?
That's incorrect.
Okay.
If I can just add, that's one of the reasons why, very careful about information that's released until you can verify some of these statements or stories that are out there. There was one weapon involved, and from the course of our investigation, there was never any truth to this issue of multiple weapons. But that's something that obviously you get a lot of rumor, you get a lot of talk and conjecture during the course of these types of reviews, and hence the need to protect that information.
Any idea where he got that weapon? Is that a common kitchen knife or something along
Well,
that?
that is actually a German-made weapon. It's made that you see in old movies and all.
Mhm.
It's on the end of a
It's a bayonet.
rifle.
Okay.
And my understanding is he had a knife collection. This was one that he possessed.
Any word on how he managed to get it into school?
We have video of Mr. Baroness on the school grounds. He had a large book bag, so it makes presumable that the knife was stored in his book bag. At one point, he begins, as you see him sort of walking around the school grounds, and he keeps kind of looking for Officer Rhodes. You can sort of see that he is kind of tracking Officer Rhodes. He's trying to find him. And he finally does find him and gets, and says he needs to see him in his office. At one point, he's walking a little. His gait changes, and it is possible that he had taken the knife out of the book bag at that point and maybe had it in his waistband. That is a theory, but the campus is an open campus, and as you walk around, you could be quite easy to have something in the book bag, a knife in the book bag.
So then you didn't see any on tape. You referenced the tape. There was no evidence that he walked through a metal detector, because I know they had several at the school, and that's a question that's been coming up.
Well, and I believe, of course, it probably is a better question for the school to talk about their metal detector policy at that time, that was in place at that time. I know that there are metal detectors at many of the high schools. We don't have any videotape of you going through a metal detector. In answer to your question, no, I don't have videotape of you going through